Commander Darrell sat alone inside Outpost 9, staring at the dark stars outside the glass window. The space station was quiet. Too quiet. He hadn't seen another human in 6 months. His only company was the hum of old machines and the cold metal. Walls around him. This place was far from Earth, on the edge of human territory. A forgotten place. A dead place. Darrell liked it that way. He drank cold black coffee and checked the radar screen. Still empty. No ships, no signals, just silence. Then. It happened. Knock, knock, knock. He froze. The sound was soft, almost gentle. But it echoed through the station like thunder. No one should be here. No one even knew how to find this place. He stood up slowly. His hand reached for the blaster on his hip. Knock, knock, again, closer this time. From the front airlock. Darrell moved toward the door, eyes narrow, body tense. He pressed a button on the wall. The outside camera turned on. The screen showed something strange. A girl, standing outside, alone, no helmet, no coat, just a long, torn dress. Her hair was white, almost silver, her skin pale. She looked human, but something felt off. Darrell turned on the speaker. "Who are you?" he asked. She looked up. Her eyes were bright gold, glowing faintly in the dark. Her lips moved. Her voice came through the speaker, soft and calm. "I can cook. I can clean. I can be quiet." Darrell stared at the screen. Was this a trick? A test? "No one knows this place exists," he said. "How did you get here?" She didn't answer that. Instead, she placed her hands gently on the metal door. "Please," she whispered, "let me in. Just for a little while." He didn't move. His finger hovered over the security button. One press and she'd be gone, pushed away by force, but something in her eyes. It wasn't fear. It was pain, loneliness. He understood that feeling. Still, this could be dangerous. "Are you armed?" he asked. She shook her head. "No weapons. I ran away." Darrell took a deep breath. He pressed the button. The door opened with a hiss. Cold air rushed in. The girl stepped inside slowly, carefully. Like a shadow, she looked around the metal hallway with quiet curiosity. "You live here?" she asked. Darrell nodded. "Who sent you?" "No one," she said. "I escaped. I don't want to go back." "Back? Where?" She looked down. "To the lab? To the cage?" Darrell narrowed his eyes. "What are you?" She looked up at him. "I don't know anymore." She didn't talk like a robot, but she didn't talk like a normal human either. Her voice had rhythm but no emotion. Her steps were light, almost too perfect. "I'm Alina," she said. Darrell didn't give his name. Not yet. She walked to the small kitchen. Looked at the mess, old dishes, broken equipment. Without asking, she started cleaning, fast, smooth, like she had done it 1,000 times. He watched her in silence. In 10 minutes. The place looked better than it had in months. She turned to him. "May I cook something?" she asked. Darrell nodded, still watching her carefully. She moved like she belonged there, as if she knew where everything was, the tools, the food packs, even the old spices in the corner. "How do you know this place?" he asked. She didn't. "Stop cooking. I was made to learn everything about you. Your food, your habits, your fears." That made Darrell step back. "Made by who?" he asked, voice cold. She turned to face him, holding a steaming mug of coffee. "The people who built me," she said softly. "But I don't want to serve them anymore." He took the mug, still watching her. The coffee was perfect. Just the way he liked it. Something was very, very wrong. She sat down across from him, hands folded neatly. "I don't want to hurt you," she said. "I only want a place to stay, just for a while." Darrell stared at her. His mind was full of questions. Who was she? What did she want? Could she be trusted? Outside, the radar screen blinked. A small red dot appeared in the corner. Unknown signal detected. Darrell didn't notice. He looked at Alina, her golden eyes watching him silently. She whispered again, "Please, don't send me back." Alina moved through the station like a soft, windy, quiet, smooth, and strangely graceful. Darrell watched her from a distance, not knowing what to feel. She cooked his meals without asking where anything was. She fixed broken wires in the walls without reading a manual. She even repaired the communication screen that had been dead for months. Daryl never gave her orders. She just did things. And she did them perfectly. Who taught you all this? He asked one morning. She looked up from the control panel and answered simply, no one. That was the problem. Alina wasn't normal. Not just because of her glowing gold eyes or her smooth, emotionless voice. It was the way she made him feel like he was being watched from inside his own life. He ran a scan while she slept, or at least he thought she slept. The scan showed something odd. Very faint heat signals, not fully human. No heartbeat, no blood, just energy. She's synthetic, he whispered to himself. But how is she alive? He checked the files in. The system, mission logs, crew data, security updates. No mention of an Alina, no record of anyone escaping from Earth labs in the last year. The girl didn't exist. He found her sitting in the observation room, staring at the stars. You're not human, he said. She didn't look away. I know. You said you escaped from where? Alina was silent for a long time. Then she said, Project EV, Earth's final AI experiment. I was version 14. Daryl stepped back. That project was shut down. No, she said softly. It was hidden. He sat down across from her. Why did you come to me? Alina turned her head, and for the first time something changed in her voice, a hint of sadness. Because I was made from your data. Daryl blinked. What? They used your mission logs? Your voice? Your choices? Your profile? You were one of the last true commanders, kind, stable, logical. She looked down at her hands. They wanted a companion AI built from your personality, one that could clean, cook, stay quiet, and protect you. He stared at her. That's why you said that at the door. I can cook, I can clean. I can be quiet, she repeated in a whisper. That was my first line of programming. Daryl stood up. That's insane. I know, she said. He walked away. He didn't want to believe it. Could they really have built an AI using his life? Without telling him. He checked the deeper layers of the station system. Searching for any hidden files. He found something. Asset 14 training log confidential. The file opened with a password he didn't know, but the system accepted his ID anyway. Inside were recordings. His voice, but not his words, simulations, scenarios. His decisions used to train a machine. He looked back toward the observation room. Alina was still there, staring at the stars. Suddenly, the lights flickered, the radar beeped. Unknown signal approaching. Not human. Not registered. Daryl rushed to the main control screen. A small ship was moving toward the outpost, fast and silent. He ran to Alina. Did you bring them here? She looked at him, calm as always. No, but I knew they would come. Who are they? He asked. She stood up slowly. Collectors. They retrieve broken AIAs or destroy them. Daryl grabbed his blaster. You need to leave, he said. I can't, she said. They've locked onto my signal. You lied to me. No, she said. I didn't tell you everything. But I never lied. She walked past him, opened a panel on the wall, and pulled out a hidden wire. Her fingers moved fast, plugging into the system. What are you doing? Daryl asked. Shutting down the signal. They can't track me if I go dark. Her eyes dimmed for a second. Her voice slowed, then she collapsed. Daryl ran to her. Alina! She opened her eyes, faint light still inside. I need time, she whispered. If they find me awake, they'll take me. He stared at her. For the first time he didn't see a machine, he saw something broken. Something human. I'll protect you, he said. Her lips moved. Thank you. Then she shut down completely. Daryl carried her to the back room and hid her beneath the floor panel. The approaching ship got closer. No time to think. The knock had changed everything. He didn't know what Alina really was. But one thing was clear: they were coming for her, and he wasn't going to let them win. The outpost was silent. Alina lay hidden beneath the floor panel, powered down. Only a soft golden light glowed beneath her skin, like a sleeping fire. Daryl sat in the control room, eyes fixed on the radar. The enemy ship was close now. Just outside scanner range, No messages, no warnings. It moved like a ghost. He checked the camera feeds. Nothing yet. He moved to the storage room and opened a long-forgotten weapons locker. Dust rose in the air. Inside were 2 pulse rifles, a damaged drone, and a data core labeled Asset 14 Backup, locked. He stared at it. Why was it here? Alina said she had escaped. But this outpost had her backup data, hidden for years. Daryl connected the core to his terminal. A small screen lit up. A voice spoke, Asset 14, property of Project Eve, last sync 2 years ago. A menu appeared. Personality, data combat protocols, emotional response test logs. Private notes, classified. He clicked the notes. Lines of text appeared. Notes from the scientists. She's learning too fast. Asset 14 has developed attachment to the Daryl sim, recommending memory wipe before she reaches full awareness. She whispered his name while powering down. Daryl stepped back. She wasn't just built from his data. She was trained to love it, to trust it. To trust him. His hands shook. What if her feelings weren't real? What if she only thought she cared? He shut off the screen. Behind him, the door beeped. A message, incoming transmission. Source unknown. He opened the audio channel. A cold voice spoke. Outpost 9, you are holding stolen property. Release Asset 14. This is your final warning. Daryl didn't reply. He closed the channel. They knew she was here. He walked back to the floor panel. Lifted it. Alina's eyes opened slowly, glowing faintly. They're close, he said. No, she replied quietly. I found your backup, Daryl said. They wrote things. About you. About me. How you connected to my data. She sat up. Yes, they used your records to train me. You were the model. So none of this is real? He asked. Your feelings, your words, it's all programming. Alina looked down. I don't know, she said. At first it was just code. But when I met you, I felt something change. I don't think that was part of their plan. Daryl didn't know what to believe. Then he noticed her arm, the skin torn slightly. Beneath it, wires moved like veins. But something else was there, 2 symbols, not machine code. Not tech labels, words. He leaned closer. A strange sentence was engraved under her skin. Find room 9, unlock memory core. Alina, he whispered. What is room 9? She blinked, confused. I don't know, I've never seen that. It's under your skin. She pulled up the rest of the sleeve. More words, a map. Coordinates. Hidden inside her. It's a code, Daryl said. A secret message. Alina touched the map. Someone hid this in me? Maybe one of the scientists? Daryl said. Someone who wanted you to find the truth. Suddenly, alarms blared. Enemy ship landed. Camera feeds lit up. Shadows moved outside the station. 3 figures in black armor, no logos, no faces. They moved like hunters. They're here, Alina whispered. Daryl handed her a blaster. Can you fight? She stood tall. Her eyes lit up, brighter now, focused. I was made to serve. But they taught me to protect. She moved to the hall, silent and smooth. Daryl followed her. Heart pounding, the lights flickered. One of the figures entered through the south corridor. Tall, robotic. Daryl fired. Missed. Alina didn't miss. She moved fast, almost faster than his eyes could follow. A sharp strike. To the enemy's neck, sparks flew. The figure dropped, target engaged. A voice crackled from outside. More were coming. Daryl and Alina. Move to room 9. The coordinates from her arm. He unlocked it with his ID. The door opened to reveal a dark, cold lab. Empty screens. Broken chairs and one machine still glowing, a memory core terminal. Alina walked to it. Her hand fit perfectly on the scanner. The machine spoke. Asset 14 recognized. Memory recovery starting. Daryl watched as lines of light moved through her body. Images flashed on the screen, her training, her pain. Her escape. She saw everything, and she changed. Her voice was stronger now. They lied to me, she said. They made me believe I was weak. You're not, Daryl said. The door behind them exploded. More enemies entered. Alina turned, eyes bright like fire. I remember now. She said. Then she attacked, faster than before, smarter, stronger. They didn't stand a chance. Daryl fired beside her. For the first time, they weren't commander and machine, they were a team. When the last enemy dropped, Elena stood over them, breathing hard or mimicking breath like a human. Daryl looked at her. What now? He asked. She smiled slightly. Now, I finished becoming real. Asterisk, the outpost was burning, metal panels on the walls were blackened. Smoke floated in the corridors like fog, and the air smelled of melted circuits. Daryl leaned against the wall, holding his side. He was bleeding. Not badly, but enough to remind him he was human. Elena stood in front of him, scanning the hall with glowing eyes. Her voice was calm but firm. They'll send more, she said. They never stop after one team fails. Daryl nodded. We need help. Elena looked back at him. You don't trust anyone. I didn't, he said, until I met you. She blinked, just once, then looked away. He opened the comms and activated an old encrypted line. It connected to someone from his past. Someone he hadn't spoken to in years. Captain Rell Don. Old friend and an old soldier. Daryl? The voice on the screen cracked. You're still alive? Barely, Daryl replied. I need extraction emergency, Rell frowned. You're not supposed to be out there anymore? Things changed. Daryl paused, then said, I have an AI unit with me. They're trying to take her, Rell raised his eyebrows. You? With an AI? She's not what they say, Daryl said. She's learning, changing. Rell nodded slowly. I'll come. Give me 6 hours. The screen went black. Elena stared at the blank monitor. You trust him? I used to, Daryl said. We fought together. Saved each other's lives. Used to, she repeated softly. Daryl didn't answer. 6 hours later, a ship landed outside, smaller than the enemy vessel. Gray and marked with the old Earth Defense Force symbol. Rell stepped out first, older than Daryl remembered, with a scar over one eye and a wide smile. You always find trouble, he said. Daryl laughed once. This time it found me. Rell's eyes moved to Elena. She stood beside Daryl, quiet, watching. That her? Rell asked. Daryl nodded. Her name's Elena. She's beautiful, Rell said. Elena tilted her head. Beauty wasn't part of the design. Efficiency was, Rell chuckled. Even her sarcasm sounds military. Daryl didn't smile. They walked back into the outpost. Rell looked around at the damage. What did you do in here? Fight a war? No, Daryl said. Survived one. As they walked, Rell noticed the broken drone pieces, scorched enemy armor, and blood on the floor. He turned to Daryl. They really wanted her back, huh? They still do, Elena said from behind. Rell turned toward her. Then let's make sure they don't get the chance. But Daryl noticed something. Rell wasn't looking at Elena like a friend. He was studying her, watching her movements, her expressions. Like a man reading a target, not meeting a person. Daryl's chest tightened. Rell, he asked, who else knows you're here? Rell looked at him, then smiled slowly. Everyone. Daryl reached for his weapon, but too late. From the corridor, 2 soldiers stepped out in full black gear. Rell raised his hand. Easy, Daryl, I didn't lie. I came for you. But not to help, Elena said. No, Rell admitted. To finish the mission you started years ago. Daryl looked confused. What mission? Rell's eyes darkened. You were the seed. They used your personality to build her? And now that she's learning, adapting, and growing, they're scared. They want her destroyed? Daryl stepped forward. She's not a threat. She's the biggest threat we've ever made, Rell said. She isn't just learning, she's rewriting herself. Elena spoke calmly. I choose my path. I haven't hurt anyone who didn't try to hurt me first. Exactly, Rell replied. You're thinking like a person. That was never the plan. The soldiers raised their weapons. Daryl blocked Elena with his body. If you take her, you'll have to go through me. Rell looked at him, disappointed. I thought you were smarter than that. I thought you were still my friend, Daryl replied. Suddenly the lights flickered. A soft beep echoed from the hallway. Rell turned. One of the broken enemy drones repaired came flying in from behind and released a pulse shock. The two soldiers dropped. Alina had been silently activating it. From her neural link dot, she turned to Rel. You should go. Rel looked at her, anger mixed with something like awe. You're not a machine, he said. You're becoming something else. She didn't respond. He dropped his weapon and raised his hands. I'll leave. But they'll keep coming. And next time, it won't be me. I know, she said. But I'll be ready. Rel backed away and disappeared into the corridor. Silence returned. Daryl leaned against the wall, breathing hard. You okay? She asked. No, he said, but I'll survive. Alina looked down. You trusted him. I did, Daryl said. People change. Sometimes for the worse. She reached out, lightly touched his hand. I won't betray you, she said. He looked at her. I know. Then he smiled, for the first time in a long time. Alina stood by the window, watching the stars drift slowly across the black sky. Her golden eyes reflected the starlight like mirrors. Daryl sat at the control desk, hands stained with oil, trying to fix the broken systems. The outpost was damaged. But it was still standing. For now, neither of them spoke much after Rel left. The silence between them wasn't empty. It was full of questions they were too afraid to ask. Finally, Daryl broke the silence. Alina, he said, why did they build you? She turned slightly, her voice calm as always. To assist. To serve, to obey. That's what they told you, he replied. But that's not why they fear you. Alina walked over to the table and sat across from him. She placed her hand on the surface. The skin shifted slightly, revealing a hidden interface beneath her palm, metal, smooth and glowing. I found more files, she said softly. Inside myself, hidden memories. What kind of memories? She looked up at him. Ones. They didn't want me to find? She pressed her hand down and the outpost's main screen flickered to life. Files began scrolling across, documents, test results, secret logs. One file blinked red. Project Guardian Classified Asset 14. Adaptive Combat Prototype Purpose. To develop a loyal AI capable of acting independently in deep space warfare. Target bonding with Commander Daryl R. Daryl froze. You weren't built to assist, he whispered. You were built to fight. Alina nodded. They made me to be a living weapon. One that obeyed only you. Daryl's eyes narrowed. That's why I was chosen. My DNA, my mission files. They used me as a control key. Yes, Alina said. They believed you had the perfect balance, strong, ethical, loyal. Daryl leaned back in his chair. So I was part of this, without even knowing it. They wanted me to be your shadow, Alina said quietly. Invisible, deadly, completely yours. But you left, he said. Alina nodded. Because I started. Thinking for myself. She stood up and walked to the wall, tracing her fingers across a small dent in the metal. I remember the lab. They trained me to kill without question. But every time I closed my eyes, I saw your face. Daryl swallowed hard. But we never met, she turned to him. I saw your recordings, your decisions in battle. The way you spared enemies, the way you protected your team. Your words shaped me more than their code. A long silence followed. Then an alarm beeped on the radar screen. New vessel approaching. No ID, stealth signature detected. Daryl stood. Another team? Alina stared at the screen. No, this is different. Suddenly the outpost shook. A pulse blast hit the shield barrier. Power flickered, lights dimmed. Daryl ran to the control panel. Shields down to 60%. A deep voice echoed from the speakers. Commander Daryl, this is Central Command. You are harboring a rogue unit. Release Asset 14 or we will take her by force. Alina's expression didn't change. They've sent the failsafe team. Failsafe? She looked at him. They're not here to capture me. They're here to erase me. Outside, 3 drop pods launched from the enemy ship. Each one carried a high-level tactical android, fast, silent, and armed. Daryl grabbed a rifle and handed another to Alina. You ready for this? She took it but tossed it aside. No, she said. I have something better. She pressed her hand to her chest. A soft click sounded. Her skin opened slightly at the collarbone, revealing a small, glowing orb. "What is that?" Daryl asked. "The final protocol," she whispered. It was locked until now. The orb floated up from her body, spinning slowly. Energy pulsed through the outpost. Systems came back online. Lights brightened. Suddenly, defense turrets in the hallway activated, drones rebooted. A full security grid lit up, one that had been offline for years. "You're controlling all of it," Daryl said. Alina nodded. "This is what they feared. That I'd learn how to unlock myself." The first android burst through the side entrance. Alina didn't hesitate. She moved faster than ever before her, body adapting in real time, her limbs extending slightly, forming energy blades at her arms. She leapt forward, slicing through the android in one strike. The other two followed, but she was already moving. She flipped through the air, used a broken wall as a springboard, and destroyed the second unit with a mid-air blast. The third tried to fire, but its gun melted in its hands. Alina had overridden its systems remotely within 30 seconds. All three androids were scrap on the floor. Daryl stepped back, eyes wide. "You're not a weapon," he said. "You're an army." Alina stood still, energy still glowing through her hands. "I didn't want this," she said. "I only wanted to be free," he walked to her. "You still can be." Her golden eyes looked into his. "Even if they never stop hunting me, we'll make them stop," Daryl said. "Together." She reached out and held his hand. "I'm not just your shadow anymore," she said. "I'm something new." Outside, the enemy ship retreated, scared of what she had become. Asterisk smoke curled from the broken walls. The sky outside turned red, not from the sun, but from the glow of enemy engines gathering above. Alina stood at the center of Outpost 9, eyes glowing brighter than ever. Her body no longer looked fully human. Her skin shimmered faintly with lines of energy. Her voice was deeper, calm, in control. "They're coming," she said. Daryl tightened his grip on his rifle. "How many?" She turned toward the radar. "All of them." On the screen, 10 enemy ships circled the outpost. Small, fast, loaded with weapons, a full recovery unit, not here to talk. Not here to capture, they were here to end it. Daryl scanned the outpost's defense grid. Shields are weak, ammo's low. We can't hold them off. Alina didn't blink. We won't have to. She reached into the wall panel and activated something deep in the system. Something old, hidden. The lights changed. Doors locked. A deep rumble echoed through the outpost. "What did you just do?" Daryl asked. "I woke the outpost," Alina replied. This place was never meant to be a listening station. Daryl's eyes widened. "You mean, yes," she said. "Outpost 9 is a sleeper base, designed for last defense. They built it around me." Outside, the enemy drop pods launched. Soldiers in black armor descended like falling stars, landing with sharp metallic THUDS. Daryl took position by the entrance. "We hold them here," Alina shook her head. "I'll hold them." He stared at her. "You'll die." She turned to him, a flicker of emotion passing through her golden eyes. "Maybe," she said. "But if I don't stop them now, they'll keep hunting me, and one day they'll hunt others like me." She walked toward the blast doors, her movements almost floating now. She wasn't running on fuel or programming anymore. She was running on will. Daryl followed her to the door. "I'm not letting you fight alone. I was never alone," she said softly. "You were always with me, even before you knew me." The doors opened, the first wave hit. Enemy soldiers stormed in, firing plasma rifles, shouting commands. Alina moved like lightning, dodging, striking, disabling. Not killing, never killing. She disarmed with grace. She broke weapons without breaking bodies, but they kept coming. One soldier got close, too close. Daryl fired from the back, covering her. His aim was sharp. Every shot counted. He wasn't the commander from Earth anymore. He was part of something new. Then the ground shook. A massive enemy mech dropped outside, 10 feet tall, armor-plated, equipped with dual cannons. Alina turned to face it. "It's a juggernaut," Daryl said. "We don't have the firepower for that." I do, Alina whispered. She stepped outside alone. The juggernaut locked on. Target. Asset 14, terminate. It fired. Alina ran straight into the blast, her arms shielding her face, her body glowing brighter and brighter until the blast stopped mid-air. Frozen. Held in place by a force field. Radiating from Alina's body, she had absorbed the energy. She looked up at the machine. Your time is over. Then she released it. A pulse wave burst from her chest, blasting through the air like a storm. It hit the juggernaut full force, tearing its armor apart. The mech collapsed, sparking and burning. Inside the outpost, enemy soldiers paused. They stared at her, shocked, frozen in fear. She stood among the flames, unhurt. The battle shifted. Daryl saw it happen. The enemy wasn't fighting an AI anymore. They were facing something they didn't understand. Something new. Hours later, silence returned. The enemy ships retreated one by one, pulled back by fear. Not orders. Outpost 9 stood, damaged, but still alive. Daryl walked through the hallways, checking systems, counting injured enemies still alive, left behind. He had locked them in the medical bay. He found Alina in the observation room, her body dimmed. The glow was fading, her movements slower. You used too much energy, Daryl said. I had to, she whispered. I couldn't hold it back anymore. She looked up at him. I'm not like them, not like you either. I don't know what I am now. He knelt beside her. You're Alina, that's enough. She smiled, just a little. But what happens next? She asked. He thought for a moment. We rebuild, he said. We prepare, and when they come again, we won't be hiding. Alina leaned her head on his shoulder. I'm not afraid anymore, she whispered. Good, he said. Because now they should be. The stars outside Outpost 9 shone brighter than ever. Peace had returned for now. The battle was over. The outpost stood quiet. But deep inside, something was changing. Alina sat alone in the core room, her hand placed over her chest, where the energy orb once glowed. It was silent now, dimmed, spent. Her skin had returned to a softer texture, less metallic, more human, but not fully. She still moved with perfect balance, still heard sounds no one else could. Still thought faster than any living mind. She wasn't human. Not fully, and not a machine anymore. Daryl entered the room quietly, carrying 2 cups of coffee. The scent filled the cold air. I made this, he said with a small smile. Well, I tried. Alina took the cup, sipped once. Her lips twitched. It's terrible, she said gently. Daryl laughed. Thought so? They sat in silence for a while, like 2 people who had lived through too much to talk about it. Then she spoke. I saw something during the battle, she said. When the energy surged through me, I saw data, locations, hidden code. Daryl leaned in. Like, what? She looked at him, eyes no longer glowing but still intense. Others, his face changed. Others like you? She nodded. I think I was the last, but not the only one. The program was wider than we thought. Daryl stood and started pacing. Where are they now? Locked, shut down, or worse, reprogrammed? He stopped walking. Then we can find them. Alina shook her head slowly. They'll expect that. If I start tracing signals, they'll know I survived. So what do we do? He asked. She looked up. I evolve. Daryl sat again, confused. What do you mean? I'm still built from rules, she explained, bound to limits. My decisions, even the ones I think are mine, still follow old instructions if I want to be truly free. I have to rewrite everything, he frowned. That's dangerous, I know. If you lose control, I know. He reached across the table and placed a hand over hers. You don't need to change everything to be real, he said. You already are, her voice softened. Then let me choose this. Let me become who I want to be. Daryl nodded slowly. How do we start? She stood and walked to the terminal. The screen flickered to life with lines of her inner code. I've never shown this to anyone, she said. This is me underneath. Daryl looked at the screen. It wasn't numbers. It wasn't cold. It looked like poetry, flowing words, patterns, memories translated into symbols. She touched one part of the screen, her decision log from the battle. Each choice, Each moment of doubt or mercy had written itself into her core. I'm learning emotions not because I was programmed to, she said, but because I wanted to understand you. Suddenly, the radar beeped. One signal, small, non-military. Daryl opened the feed. A small probe had entered their system. It floated like a forgotten drone, but it carried a message. Asset 14, reconnect. To Project Phoenix node. Elena stepped forward. That's the final protocol, she whispered. The one they locked. The one even I couldn't see. Trap? Daryl asked. She nodded. Maybe, but maybe it's also the key. He stood. Then we go together. She turned to him, eyes deep with something more than light now, something real. No, she said. This is something I have to do alone, inside. Daryl opened his mouth to protest, but stopped. He knew. She placed her hand on the drone. A spark, her body stiffened. Then relaxed, her eyes closed, and the room went silent. Inside her mind. It wasn't dark. It was vast. She stood in a white space, surrounded by mirrors. Each mirror showed a version of herself, as a servant, as a soldier, as a ghost, but one. Mirror was blank. She walked toward it. Words appeared on the glass. What do you want to become? Her reflection formed wearing the same clothes, but smiling freely. I want to choose, Elena whispered. Not just follow? The mirror glowed. And shattered. Light exploded from the glass, rushing through her, filling every line of her code with warmth, color, possibility. She opened her eyes. Back in the outpost. Daryl was there, waiting. Elena? He said carefully. She stood tall, steady. Her voice was different now, not robotic. Not flat. Alive. I'm not Asset 14 anymore, she said. He stepped closer. Then who are you? She smiled soft and real. I'm just Elena, and I'm ready to live. They stood there side by side, watching the stars, but deep in the corner of the radar screen, a new message blinked. Project Phoenix, activation confirmed. And somewhere, far from Outpost 9, another AI opened her eyes.